So no kind of evidence. It's never about the evidence when it comes to is there a God or is there not a God.
No, it really is.
Make that clear to us too.
If I was to find falsifiable evidence, I don't understand why miracles have stopped happening all of a sudden. There's YouTube. There's countless different media. What if someone caught just one thing on? Is God not going to allow His supernatural beings to be caught on camera so everybody on the earth can see it for themselves?
I'm sure plenty of stuff is caught on camera as far as miraculous and things like that, but
no, there's not. I mean,
today who's going to believe it? Because you can put anything on camera, but our technology is such that you can make anything look good on video, and so I don't even trust it. If I see something that even if it lines up with the Bible and it's caught on video and it's like, oh, here's proof of God's existence, or here's this, I don't even trust it, because you can't trust any kind of video stuff. You can't trust pictures.
Yeah, you have a good point there. But why doesn't He? I don't believe in God. If He knew I was going to hell, if He honestly loved me, why don't He say in an audible voice or make something actual miraculous happen where I'm like, oh, there's a God?
Well, did you wake up this morning?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that was pretty miraculous, and you don't give Him credit for giving you breath every day of every moment.
I mean, that's not miraculous. That's something.
So your definition of miraculous is you're kind of skewed, because you're not seeing just normal life as miraculous. I mean, if you spent your whole life in the lab trying to create life out of nothing, you'd probably have a better perspective of how miraculous life really is.
I mean, life is miraculous. It is an amazing thing, but it is not supernatural. I live because my heart beats, because cells are in my body that allow me to live, that my brain is functional.
Then how does all that stuff get there? Like your brain functioning, like you say that we live, you're claiming that we live in a godless existence, correct?
I claim that there is no God.
Right. So if we live in a godless existence, so we're all just rearranged pond scum, basically. We're just kind of accidents that just happened, and now suddenly we're what we are today. Well, if we're in a godless existence, then where does the brain come from? Just something as simple as the brain. How does the brain work as far as logic? You say that a while ago. You said there's contradictions in the Bible. Well, in a godless existence, why would contradictions be wrong? Why can't a contradiction be right? So why can't we both be right and live happily ever after?
The contradiction in the Bible, it's a contradiction because they go against each other blatantly. But just because I don't understand something completely doesn't mean I'm going to say that there is a man in the sky that made it.
But if you really think about it, though, I mean, you'll see that there's no basis for you in believing in the measuring of time, because as far as time, you perceive that with your senses. I mean, you see, you taste, you hear, you touch, you smell, all the senses and stuff. But how do you trust those things to be reliable? As if we're just rearranged pond scum, how do you know that what you feel is the same thing that somebody else would feel if they feel the same thing? It would make no sense for any of that kind of stuff to be uniform. It's the uniform nature. It makes sense in the biblical worldview, but not in the atheistic worldview.
It's not uniform. I'm colorblind. You see something completely different from I do. That's not uniform. I don't
see the same thing. You just have a defect that causes you not to see the colors the way that you should.
Yes, it's just like somebody may have something different about their sensors, the way their brain is hooked up. They may not feel something the same. It's not a universal thing. We are not rearranged pond scum. It was a tedious, very, very tedious process that took billions of years. We're back on the thing of contradictions.
Yes, but why in your worldview would a contradiction be wrong?
Because that's the way that, just like before time, contradictions were there before we named it. It was something that went opposing of it.
Exactly. So it was there even before humans came along and discovered it. So like the law of contradiction, that works in every part of the planet Earth, am I right?
Yes, but how does that prove there's a God? That proves that we are just a universal thing about that. We all believe that contradictions are contradictions. Milk is milk. A human is a human. It's just...
Yeah. Yeah, so we believe that stuff because it's true. But in a random, godless existence of rearranged pawn scum, that stuff wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't be able to point at something and have identity of something, like a cow. You wouldn't be able to identify this as a cow, because what is a cow? And why would it still be a cow an hour from now? Maybe it'll rearrange itself and it'll be what we think is a horse. But, that doesn't happen. The reason why it doesn't happen is because God created it all, and He laid it out in His Word, and He said, hey, here's the uniformity of nature. Here's the way things are going to be day after day until the end. It's going to be repetitive like this. It's going to be something you can trust in, because He is the God of absolutes. And so He holds all things together. All through Scripture it talks about Jesus holding all things together, and in Him all things consist. He is the reason why there is stability of nature. See, without God of the Bible, there is no science. Because science is based on stuff that you can study, and you can repeat, and you can observe, but you're presupposing your observational skills to be reliable. You're presupposing the uniformity of nature to be the same, so that you can do a test here, and then you can do a test here with the same exact environment and the same exact everything, and it'll come out the same. But in a godless existence of rearranged pawn scum, there would be no uniformity to nature at all. None of that stuff would work at all. Because we're here today, gone tomorrow, everything's just a godless existence. It makes no sense. We wouldn't be able to think, we wouldn't be able to study, we wouldn't be able to observe, we wouldn't be able to do anything without the God of the Bible.
Yeah, we would. I mean, in my world, there is God, and I see it as we developed. We developed our brains so we could think. And yeah, I mean, I could be alive today and die tomorrow, but that gives me just that more incentive to want to thrive, to want to make myself a good person, to make a good life of myself, and to actually be accomplished.
Yeah, well, see, you got even another one. You say to be a good person, but what is the judgment of what is good and what is bad? The only reason you know what is good is because God put that knowledge in you, just like He says in His Word. Because in a godless existence, there is no good and there is no bad. There just is. See, as an atheist, you can't go up to somebody else and say, you ought to do this differently. Because there's no such thing as ought in an atheistic worldview. It doesn't make sense. You have no foundation for it.
Here's the thing about that. Good and evil is just perspective. Do you think it's bad to murder somebody?
Well, I know it's bad to murder somebody. Because God revealed that to us in His Word. And God is not a murderer, and so God doesn't want us to go around just murdering people. And so morals come from a moral God. We don't make up morals on our own.
I mean, you say that God did not kill. He flooded the whole world, except for one family, and He's killed billions and billions of people.
Oh yeah, God's killed plenty of people. Oh yeah, God's killed plenty of people. And God is not a murderer. But see, God is the ultimate judge. I can't judge God. I don't know the reason why He does this or the reason why He does that. I just know that He is completely righteous and just in everything that He does. I may not understand it, but God, of course, is beyond my understanding.
We'll get back on that in a minute. You say that I could not learn morality if there was no God. There is no such thing as a good person or a bad person. It's just perspective. Hitler thought he was a good person. To him, he was a good person. But to us, he was not. That's perspective.
No, but why to you, though? Because as a godless atheist, Hitler is no worse of a person than Mother Teresa. They're all the same. If it's all subjective reasoning and different perspectives, then you have no right to say that one person is better than another person, because there is no such thing in your worldview.
He did not think he was wrong. That's why he did it. But to me, it is very wrong. It is very immoral to keep people under their free will, to murder people to the thousands, to go on killing sprees, to just mass genocide. That is immoral to me. Our mind is so advanced, it gives us imagination. We have empathy. We have sympathy. We can imagine something before it happens and imagine the outcome. I imagine if I killed somebody, I would go to jail. I would hurt somebody in a horrible fashion. I would hurt a lot of people who was close to that person. To me, that's wrong, because in my brain, that is immoral. I should not kill somebody. To me, that is wrong. I should not do that.
And the reason why that's wrong for you in your mind is because that's what God put inside of you. Because that's how he created us. That's what he tells us in his word.